Alright y'all, this video is starting now, but I've been out here for about 2 hours getting some stuff ready. I'm already freaking drenched, man. Y'all gotta agree with me. This North Carolina weather sucks ass, dude. It's so humid out. Like 97-degree days every single day. But luckily we have some rain coming, and that's what brings us to what we're gonna try to do today. Now, I ordered something off of Amazon, and it was supposed to be here about 2.5 weeks ago. That being a chisel plow for the ATV. Now guys, I'm not gonna lie, this thing came to the house late, and it came to the house literally barely in a box. I have bolts, I have screws missing. It's not a good time. I've put this thing together for the use of what I'm gonna need today, but let me just show you what we have left over. Yeah, we got a little extra. Plow's purpose was supposed to, you know, kind of angle up on wheels. You can drive it to where you want, and when you want to finally chisel, you put it down, and then you can run it. I really don't have a plan to take this thing back home, to be completely honest with you, and I just want to run the hell out of it today and just really see what we can do. But we have some negatives with what's going on, guys. We're gonna try to plant some brown top millet. I'm a little bit late. If I get it in the ground today, it's 54 days. If you guys don't know, maturity on brown top is anywhere between 45 and 70. I know it's a big gap, but that goes for fertilization, rain, soil, the whole nine. This is a two-part video. Once we're done doing what we're doing today, we're gonna jump into a next little series of us coming out to the farm, doing like a full update on it, fertilizing our crops. So it kind of ties in with this video. But guys, the goal today is to literally try to run a patch. When we planted sunflowers, we purposely left this area for brown top. You can kind of see where the sunflowers stop all in here. Not having the wheels installed, it's going to be kind of hard to maneuver and back up and stuff. So I just plan to do one giant circle dividing from our sunflowers to our beans. We might actually plant a strip in between those. I think that would look pretty cool. We'll go through step by step of what I'm going to try to do. And guys, don't expect much. Like I said, this plow is kind of a piece of shit. I just wanted to try it out and see what it's got. Did really good on the dirt. You can actually see it doing its job, but the grass here is so tall, we're gonna have to work through it multiple times. I was gonna spray the grass, but I'm not gonna risk spraying so close to the sunflowers and those getting killed because they're actually doing really good. So it's going to take multiple laps to finally, I think, get to dirt, but the whole goal is just to try to loosen up the soil. We have a week of rain coming tomorrow, so in theory, guys, once we broadcast, the brown top should do its thing. So with that being said, let's roll this time lapse and let's see what this old plow can do. Guys, talk about a pain in the ass, but we are getting it done. Now this chisel plow, I mean, it's really not made for what I'm doing in the areas that I'm kind of doing it at. I mean, it's made to, you know, dig deep and break ground and, you know, bring the nutrients up, and that's honestly what's happening down there at the bottom. It's more of dirt and there's a lot of rocks. So you guys, you'll be shocked. I'm actually pulling up so many rocks that have been in my fields, that have kind of been in these paths. Kind of the path that goes around the whole entire fields, but I did leave about 10 feet that was part of the field that we just never planted, obviously, for this reason. So it's worked in a lot of different areas, but guys, I've probably gone around 300 times. I haven't even been recording the whole entire time. You guys are probably getting dizzy watching it. You guys can see on the drone, I mean, we are covering ground. Hopefully you guys can pick out what I'm actually going over. And the line that we've done between our sunflowers and our beans, look at that line. I mean, that is gonna grow really, really nice. So I'm really not even working that spot too much. In some of these areas, guys, it's uneven. So me just doing lines back and forth, it's really done about all it's gonna do. Now my method is just doing donuts and circling and circling. And guys, we are getting it done. So with that being said, let's keep on knocking at this. Hopefully here in the next hour and a half, 2 hours, we should be able to have good enough ground to where I think the plants keep it rolling. right, y'all, I'm happy with this. I really think, yes, there's still some grass in here, and I have experimented with spraying, like I said, like near something that's obviously not Roundup ready, and it's a 50-50, you know. I mean, the way we're about to get rain, I wouldn't want to take a risk. But yes, I know for a fact if I would have sprayed this stuff first, I would have been done about 3 hours ago. So it's just constantly trying to run over the grass. But I think it's to the point now to where what is left is gonna get killed by the sun. Let's just hope. We are about to get rain, or it's gonna shoot right back up. It's in Mother Nature's hands at this point, but at least I did, you know, what I could for the time that I have. This was more of like the hard dirt that I was talking about. And as you turn around, I mean, we got some clumps in there, but the plow, I'm actually pretty impressed. I mean, look at the depth it gave me. I mean, it gave me some pretty good dirt. I'm happy with what it did for sure. Y'all are probably saying, you damn idiot, just go get a tractor, go rent a piece of equipment. But guys, I spent a lot of money on that fooler this year to do stuff with it at the farm. And you guys know I don't mind having to do stuff, you know, kind of the hard way, or, you know, it taking me a little bit longer. I like to take my time on things, and honestly, I think it came out pretty good. I'm excited for this row right here. Unfortunately, when you plant anything, you'll learn where the most fertilization soil was. Like normally, like the corners of the bottom of the field, they normally don't produce the best, and I can really see this side of my sunflowers really took a hurting, but we did throw fertilizer on them, and we are gonna fertilize this. Brown top millet craves lots of nitrogen, just like corn, just like sunflowers, so, you know, I think it's in the right spot to be planted. Here we go. Here's our brown top. Now, I've never actually planted this stuff before, but I mean, I do know, like I said, it craves nitrogen. It matures in about 45 to 70 days. A couple ways this stuff can be planted. It can be broadcasted, which is what we're about to do today. You know, you could drag it, you know, bury the seeds. Normally, the smaller the seed, guys, the less it really needs with depth going into the ground. So this is kind of how I'm looking at it, because that is the case with this type of seed. If we're about to get slammed with rain for about a week, which is what we're calling for, if I bury my seeds, they might not have a chance to come up. But if I leave them on top of the soil, obviously birds are gonna get them. You know, the seed could get, you know, dried up pretty quick. But like I said, we're getting rain, so I don't think that's gonna be the case. I'm gonna take my chances doing it this way. I'll kind of see how it broadcasts. If it, you know, hits the ground and goes in just a little bit, we'll roll it. If the seed's all exposed, I might cover a little bit. Let's go ahead and load her up and let's get to broadcasting. When I said a very fine seed, I mean it. We're gonna work in sections. We're gonna start here at the path, work to the second telephone pole, and then I'll kind of move you guys around and we'll hit the whole entire field. Alright guys, you can see in these clips right here, the farm has come to life. I mean, everything is green, and shockingly, the corn came up, the pumpkins came up. I had more faith in the sunflowers and the beans, but everything is green and it's thriving. But you can always benefit it, and that's what we're about to do today. We need to go ahead and get some fertilizer on my crops. I'm gonna give you guys a small update up close of what we're kind of looking like. You guys can see those are all sunflowers. I mean, they're all looking good. Average height is probably this right here, maybe 9 to a foot tall. There is some bigger ones here and there. And the beans, guys, the beans took a pretty hard hit. I mean, everything did. I mean, everything should be much bigger than what it is right now. But guys, we have been in a drought and like massive heat warnings for like probably 3 weeks. And you can tell the beans that just couldn't hold on any longer, they just died off. And the ones that are still here, they're kind of hanging on by a thread too. You can see all the beans through here. They're probably about 6 to 8 inches tall. Deer are hitting them pretty hard too. So all the tops are getting chopped off. I mean, you can tell the ones that have got hit and the ones that haven't. That right there, that's a healthy bean, and all the ones around it, they're all kind of nicked off. The whole purpose of what we've done here isn't to try to grow the tallest bean and harvest them. We want this to happen. I want to see the deer that are eating them. So everything is doing its job. But let's go ahead and unload the four-wheeler. I'm going to explain to you guys what we're going to be spraying, how much we're going to be spraying, the company we're going to be using, and hopefully how to get some more growth out of these plants. So guys, the company we're going to be using today is called FERVITA, and they sent out multiple gallons of 3-18-18 and 10-10-10. Obviously, our pumpkins and our corn are going to get the 10-10-10. And then our sunflowers and our beans are gonna get the 3-18-18. Now there's a ton of different fertilizers on the market, but the good thing about the liquid fertilizer is that it is a direct contact to the plant you're spraying. It's just great because I'm trying to get a boost jump to my crops. Now I should already spray the fertilizer. They really recommend anywhere from like 3 to 4 inches, just a little bit of growth from the plant. You can hit them, but like I said, guys, you can risk burning the plant because we have had absolutely no rain. I'm trying to hurry because we have rain probably in around 6 hours, which I think is enough time for the plant to absorb the fertilizer, but also too, it is in the middle of the day where we're in about the 81s right now, but it's straight overcast. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of radiation from the sun, which also can obviously burn the crop. So I think we're timing this extremely good, but I wanna get this fertilizer laid down. Once again, guys, huge shout out to this company. I'm gonna leave all their stuff in the description. I'm super excited to see the results we get from this, and I bought this brand new sprayer, and then for my size of my farm, I think this is a great application just to quickly come out here and lay down some fertilizer. It does go a long ways. I mean, each one of these containers is 2.5 gallons. I'm gonna explain to you guys the ratio we're gonna be putting into, because I'm obviously using 25 gallons to spray. Let's go ahead and load up the ratio of what we're gonna use for sunflowers, and let's get to spraying. So for 25 gallons for the 3-18-18, I'm gonna use about 3 liters. And just to make sure I'm doing the measurements right, this is a liter right here. So we're just gonna funnel it out and put it right into the sprayer. Try to do this without spilling. There we go, our first liter's going in. And number 3. Close her up, and once again, neighbors awesome, let me use their water. If not, I'd be pretty screwed out here. Guys, while we're waiting on that to fill up, I'm just gonna jump over here. The corn is looking extremely good, and you can see we have it all the way up on the road. It wraps around, kind of like hand broadcasted some, so it's not as good as the middle, but this was just for fun, guys, just experiment to see what it was gonna do, and I'm extremely happy with it. But the corn has taken a really hard beat, and you can see right here, when corn starts to kind of fold into each other, corn needs a lot of fertilizer and it needs a lot of water. As we planted about 250 pumpkins, and sadly we're down to about 100. That is what the pumpkins are looking like. There's actually a little bit of a smaller one. Fortunately, you really can't spray pumpkins except for just for like, it just kills the grass. And obviously we have a lot of sickle pod in here, which is very, very hard to kill. Let's walk over to our next one. They're all about the same size. This whole front field was just for an experiment and just to have fun, but we are gonna fertilize that today too. All right, we got you guys time-lapsing up there. Now the unfortunate thing about spraying, especially how I'm about to do it, I mean, I do have a 12-foot boom and it is pretty efficient, but you are running over a lot of the sunflowers and all your crops, and that kind of sucks, especially when you're hitting guys like this. I mean, this plant's probably 14 inches tall, and I'm just gonna have to try to dodge and weave, but I'd rather, you know, run a couple over and give them what they need than not do anything at all. So guys, with that being said, let's go ahead and turn the pump on, and let's see what we can do. All right, guys, we're on our 4th fill up. The whole entire front field is complete. Now we're going to the very back. This is our 3.5 acre field, and this whole field back here is all beans, group 5, 6, and 7. So let's see how far we can stretch a tank. We're probably gonna need to do this one about 3 times. Alright guys, near about the whole entire farm is sprayed and it went perfect. We actually covered a lot of ground the first time I did my field spraying the Roundup. The fields are so tall, I mean, I was overlapping tire to tire. You gotta take in consideration, like it's not just what I'm doing in my lane, it's like literally almost 2 feet over what I'm doing. So I overlapped pretty good and it was a lot less than the first time. But now we're gonna tackle the front fields with the 10-10-10. Because I'm doing certain areas, I think it'd be best just to fill up this little gallon pump sprayer and just do each plant. I mean, and the corns will take a little bit more, but that's not gonna be bad at all. So last time I used this, it was for a Roundup, so we need to go wash this out. What is planted up front, the corn's Roundup ready, but the pumpkins obviously aren't, so we gotta be careful with what we put in here. Obviously, if you guys don't know, that ratio right there is made for most vegetables. Just in case we gotta do it 2 times, I went ahead and put a little extra. All right guys, it's unfortunate. I mean, it's good for the crops, but our drizzle is finally here. At least I'm just gonna try to hit some of these pumpkins. I guess with it being direct contact, yeah, you want it to dry a little bit, but you guys can see, I mean, I'm starting to flower a little bit, and my plan, I have a little tool with me and I was gonna try to pull back some of these weeds. Sickle pot is something else. It just takes over everything. That's why I didn't want to just spray everything in here. I don't want to fertilize the stuff I don't want to grow, obviously. So when we sprayed FERVITA, I told you guys that I would give you an update, and it's been probably about 5 to 7 days, so let's just call it a week. And you can see in the drone right now, guys, I think we have probably 7 or 8 sunflowers that have bloomed. You know, they're still a little bit small, but the fertilizer has jumped a couple of them. I mean, some of these guys are 2 foot tall. The ones that were like 5 to 7 inches are now foot. The ones that were 1.5 feet are now 2. So the growth is happening. Rain is coming. It's been very, very hard this season getting stuff ready. And you guys can see the beans, they're having some growth too. So the whole farm, I think, just needs to rely on some rain, a little bit more time. Guys, the corn sprouted a little bit taller. The pumpkins now have their vines. Everything that we sprayed in time with rain is doing amazing right now. If you guys want to check out FERVITA, I'm going to leave all their stuff in the description down below. Liquid fertilizer is an upcomer, and I'm glad that I was able to come out here and kind of test it on my crops and, you know, see how they reacted to it, and they liked it a lot. A lot of exciting things are happening this month with the farm, just in general, just for this month. I mean, guys, our bucks are starting to really develop. This is the time to see what you're going to have in your property, what its potential is going to be. You know, crops are going to probably grow the most right now, and you know, dove season's right around the corner, and that's what we do this preparation today. And guys, it's all an experiment. We'll see how this stuff comes up. You guys really seem to enjoy the blind video, and you probably seen it behind me. It just, guys, it just takes a lot of time. I'm out here every single day while still trying to film other videos. Right now we have 10 all around it, and after that stage we're starting to move inside and work with some amazing companies. So huge thanks for everyone who was watching that video and showed some support. Part 2 is coming soon. I really appreciate you guys watching. Until next time.